Hey folks, Mike Dawkins from Worldcast Anglers here, coming at you with the first Jackson Hole fly fishing forecast for the 2025 season for the weekend of April 12th and 13th. We couldn't be more excited to be here on the water, giving you the most up-to-date fishing information for our local region in the greater Jackson Hole and Teton Valley area. Thanks again for joining us this season. As we're looking into our fishing conditions for this weekend, this is one of the first big warm spells that we've had in our local area. We're seeing daytime temperatures in the 60s. We're seeing a lot of sunshine, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. And we're going to start to see a lot of our low-level snow melt filter into a lot of our river systems. So be on the lookout for high turbidity and increased and decreased clarity. Those are going to go hand in hand here for the next month. As we start to have some of these warmer days, in some of these nights where we don't get below freezing, a lot of this low-level snow melt is going to burn off, and we're going to see some off-color water conditions, and we're going to see some rising water levels. So be on the lookout for those as you start your angling pursuits this spring season and anywhere. The Snake and Jackson, the Teton and Teton Valley, the Henry's Fork where we are now. The South Fork isn't as subjected to it, but you will see it a little bit as well. Looking into fishing conditions for this weekend, we've got Palisades Reservoir at 77% of capacity. We've got Jackson Lake at 76% of capacity. We've got American Falls below us that is creeping up in the high 90s of its capacity. So be on the lookout for water managers to start adjusting flows to make room for all of this snow that we have to come down. Our peak snowpack occurred on April 5th, so we're on the other end of the curve where we're going to start losing our snowpack and really not being able to regain it in certain areas, which is a big sort of relief to all of us that are ready to see winter go and spring formally arrive. Our snowpack in snow water equivalency in the upper Snake River Basin yesterday was 108% of capacity and 98% capacity in the Henry's Fork drainage. So we've still got a lot of snow to go. The Henry's Fork behind me, we've had water flows increase coming out of the Box Canyon to 450 CFS, and then we've got 1,230 CFS there on the lower river around Ashton. The Henry's Fork is a bit of our go-to spring and fishery in the local area, and for good reason. The past couple weeks, we've been seeing really good blue-wing olive hatches. We're seeing a lot of Mother's Day caddis. We've seen some other stoneflies, midges. You've got a lot of bugs, and you've got some of the first rising water temperatures in our local area. Nymphing has been really productive. Rubber legs, San Juan worms, zebra midges, caddis pupa and larvae, small pheasant tails, and blue-wing olive imitations have all been really productive. And the dry fly fishing is just kicking into high gear. So get ready for some of those first dry fly fishing opportunities that you're going to have in the greater Jackson Hole region, especially here on the Henry's Fork. The South Fork, we're seeing those flows being increased for the first time this late winter spring season to 6,000 CFS. You know, we'll start to see those stabilize here in the next couple days. So we've got 6,000 CFS coming out of Palisades Dam, 4,560 CFS on the lower river down there around Heise, which means water managers and irrigation demand is starting to take some water out of the river, which is that sort of fine line that our water managers run of discharge to consumption. The South Fork of the Snake flows are still really cold, as they should be this time of year. Subsurface action with your rubber legs, your zebra midges, you know, smaller Baetis imitations, rainbow warriors, things of that nature are going to be really productive. Streamer fishing has been productive as well, but just remember, keep those flies low and slow in some of those slower water areas this time of year where fish aren't having to expel a lot of energy to consume energy. That's going to be the name of the game for this next month or two. The Snake and Jackson, we've seen those flows fluctuate coming out of Jackson Lake Dam in between 280 to 500 CFS and around 2,500 CFS there on the lower river. Similarly, the Snake can be a blast to fish during the pre-runoff season. Before the crowds and everybody else gets on the water, we're starting to see a smattering of blue-wing olives over there, as well as the Capnia stoneflies, as well as some of the first squallas and those bigger stoneflies, you know, size 8s and 10s that can kick off some of those first fun foam fishing opportunities that we all love in the spring season. The trick with the squalas that I've learned over the years is you have to adjust your expectations to what you're fishing. It's not like fishing salmon flies or golden stones or things like that in the summertime. You have to keep those flies in the zone. You have to keep them hunting. You have to keep mending. You have to keep them in the seam line. The more time that those flies are on the water and those fish can see your flies, the better off you're going to be. As I was explaining earlier, a lot of these water temperatures are still pretty cold. So it's going to take, a couple passes through those productive seam lines, those recirculating eddies, those slow banks, and the tail outs for those fish to come up and eat those dry flies. And don't be too quick on the trigger when you're setting the hook on those first foam eats. The Teton in Teton Valley, 340 CFS in the valley, 600 CFS on the lower river. The Teton can offer some pretty good early season fishing opportunities, but it is a bit more subjected to those turbid high flows that we're going to see here in the next couple days from this first runoff. Midges, caddis, small dry droppers with attractors can catch a couple fish on top. Small streamers like JJ Specials, buggers, sculpin imitations can be really good in the deeper water areas, and those dry dropper rigs, as I was saying earlier, a large parachute with, a pheasant tail, a small rubber leg, a hare's ear, a caddis pupa can put some fish in the net as well. The flows aren't that high. Right now, they're pretty darn clear, but I would suspect that's going to change here in the next couple days. Our fly shop, we're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're open on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're still closed on Sundays. So whatever you need, we're excited to see everybody this spring angling season. Fishing licenses, bugs, leaders and tippet, new fly line, whatever you need, we're here for all of y'all. So thanks for tuning in. Enjoy this warm and wonderful weekend coming up on the water, and we'll see you here next week.